to get asked about Caitlin Clark and Indiana, and I'm like, guys, like, just relax. Like, they're gonna figure it out. They've got to learn how to play together. You know, she's thrown into this league right away.
At the heart of every dynamic sports story lies a transformative moment, a turning point when strategy meets raw talent, and innovation changes the course of a team's destiny. For the Indiana Fever, that moment is unfolding in real time. Recent discussions have swirled around the role of Caitlin Clark, one of the most electrifying playmakers in women's basketball, and the adjustments being implemented by head coach Stephanie White. In a conversation that has ignited passionate debate among fans and pundits alike, questions were raised about Clark's future role with the ball and the overall championship potential of the Fever in the coming seasons. At our Sport Pulse, we've seen the narrative evolve from initial panic and speculation to a calm, strategic reassessment. The argument is not about reducing a superstar's involvement, but about optimizing her performance over the long haul. Let's dive into the layered discussion about Caitlin Clark's transition from a perennial ball-dominant player to a more versatile offensive threat, and how this move, along with smart roster adjustments, is shaping the future of a franchise on the rise.
And she's going to figure it out, and she did. She did, and she's going to see all kinds of coverages. She's going to see all kinds of matchups, and so for us, working on how to become a little.
In the early days of discussions surrounding Caitlin Clark, many voices in the basketball community, both critics and fervent supporters, expressed concern. Some questioned whether a player who was so integral to the offense should ever be taken off the ball, fearing that any deviation might diminish her explosive talent. The argument was simple. If Caitlin's not in control every moment, then isn't the team at risk? Yet this view overlooked the evolution of modern basketball, where even the most gifted stars have learned the value of strategic rest and role diversification. The conversation kicked off when Clark was asked about her situation with the Fever. Many wondered if, as she transitions into this new role, the chemistry on the court might suffer. But seasoned voices reminded fans that great teams aren't built on a single player's output. They are forged through collective growth, smart adjustments, and a deep understanding of each member's strengths. Our Sport Pulse believes that instead of panicking, fans should trust that the learning process is a natural part of the team's evolution. After all, every star has to find their rhythm when thrust into a league that demands constant adaptation. Central to this transformation is head coach Stephanie White. In a recent discussion, White made comments that sent shockwaves through the fan base, suggesting that there would be times when Caitlin Clark might not be the primary ball handler. This statement, initially interpreted by some as a reduction in Clark's importance, was actually a strategic maneuver. Coach White's philosophy isn't about limiting a player's involvement, but about ensuring she plays smart, conserving energy for the moments when her brilliance is needed most.
Contending team for 2025.
Is it realistic to say that this team is a title contender in 2025?
I mean, I think on paper, certainly. You know, you look at it and look, our goal was.
White explained that while Clark's ball-handling wizardry is undeniable, part of the game plan is to occasionally have her play off the ball. This isn't a sign of diminishing her role, it's a tactic designed to increase overall efficiency and allow the offense to function like a well-oiled machine. When a player is constantly burdened with the responsibility of every play, it's not uncommon for their performance to suffer over time. By strategically rotating her duties, the coach is ensuring that Clark can remain a potent threat throughout the entire game without burning out. Think of it like this. Imagine a maestro conducting an orchestra. There are moments when the conductor steps back, allowing the musicians to shine individually while still keeping the symphony in perfect harmony. That is exactly the approach White is taking with Clark. The goal is to enable her to preserve her explosive energy, minimize unnecessary turnovers, and create space for her teammates to step up, thereby crafting a more balanced and resilient team. When we talk about playing off the ball, we're not suggesting that Clark will become a peripheral player. On the contrary, this tactical adjustment is about enriching her already formidable arsenal. Clark is renowned for her exceptional vision, slick handles, and an uncanny ability to make plays that leave defenders baffled.
Was to bring in experience, to bring in players that can complement our big three. I didn't know that we would be able to build the depth that we were able to build in year one. I thought that was good.
However, the physical demands of being the primary ball handler, especially against defenses that double-team her relentlessly, can lead to both physical and mental fatigue. Coach White's strategy is twofold. First, it aims to reduce the number of good versus bad turnovers. Although Clark's early season statistics might have shown an inflated number of turnovers, a closer examination reveals that many of those were actually good turnovers plays that led to quick scoring opportunities. Modern basketball is as much about strategy as it is about talent. With opponents studying film, devising elaborate defensive schemes, and anticipating every move, even the best players must evolve. The idea of having a superstar like Caitlin Clark constantly in the spotlight can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, she can create magic when she's on the court. On the other, she becomes a constant target for double teams, traps, and other defensive adjustments designed specifically to neutralize her impact. By incorporating stretches of off-ball play into Clark's game plan, Coach White is not only preserving her energy, but also challenging defenses in a different way. When Clark is not the primary focus, defenders are forced to spread their attention, which opens up opportunities for her teammates.
Standpoint, so that becomes the next challenge. But getting more efficient in everything that we do, for us, moving her off the ball a little bit more so she's not getting worn out in game, just handling the ball.
This approach is reminiscent of strategies employed by teams with multiple scoring threats, where the constant threat of an off-ball cutter, a deep shooter, or a quick transition player forces the opposing defense to remain constantly alert. The result is an offense that becomes far less predictable and much more difficult to defend. Furthermore, reducing Clark's ball handling responsibilities in every possession can lead to a decrease in the frequency of turnovers, a stat that, when taken out of context, might not fully capture her contributions on the floor. The nuanced understanding here is that not all turnovers are created equal. Some occur as a natural part of an aggressive offensive style, while others result from poor decision-making under fatigue. By optimizing her role, White is aiming to minimize the latter, thereby boosting overall team efficiency. Another key aspect of this transformation is the management of minutes, a topic that has long been debated among fans and analysts. In previous seasons, the narrative was that Caitlin Clark was playing almost every minute of every game. While this may have worked for a time, the physical toll of constant high-intensity play is undeniable. Over the course of a long season, even the fittest athlete can begin to show signs of wear and tear. Stephanie White's approach to rotation management is a game changer. By allowing Clark to sit out during select moments, the coach is ensuring that she has the stamina to perform at peak levels when it matters most. Think of it as a carefully choreographed dance. Each player has their moment to shine, but there's also an understanding that rest and recovery are essential for maintaining a high level of performance over time.
And are on the defensive end of the floor as well, like being a better defender. The best that for us as an opponent, you want to attack a good offensive player by making them play on the defensive end, putting them through the ringer.
This isn't a sign of weakness or a lack of confidence in her abilities. It's a recognition of the modern demands of professional sports. Moreover, this strategy sets a precedent for the entire team. It sends a message that every player, regardless of star power, is part of a larger system designed to achieve collective success. In a sport where fatigue can be as dangerous as a well-timed steal or a strategic timeout, managing energy levels is crucial. By adopting a rotation that prioritizes both rest and readiness, the Fever are positioning themselves to go the distance in both the regular season and the playoffs. For the fans and the league alike, the adjustments in the Fever's system represent a significant shift in tactical thinking. There's a certain elegance in a system that doesn't rely solely on one player to make all the decisions. Instead, it introduces variability, unpredictability, and a level of sophistication that can catch opponents off guard. When a star like Caitlin Clark alternates between being the primary orchestrator and a dynamic off-ball threat, defenses are forced to adapt continuously. This fluidity makes the entire team more resilient, and it transforms the way opponents prepare for every game. From a psychological standpoint, this shift is just as important. It alleviates the immense pressure that naturally falls on a player tasked with shouldering the entire offensive burden. Instead of being seen as a one-man band, Clark is now part of a well-rounded ensemble where every player is expected to contribute.
I'm not saying Caitlin Clark didn't turn the ball over a bit too much, especially early in the year, but ironically, the turnover numbers did not tell the...
This change not only improves on-court chemistry, but also fosters a culture of mutual accountability. When teammates understand that success comes from shared responsibility, it leads to a more harmonious locker room and a more cohesive approach on the court. Furthermore, the strategic move to allow Caitlin Clark some downtime on the floor has parallels with the legendary approaches of teams that have built dynasties. Consider the Golden State Warriors. While Steph Curry's brilliance is undeniable, His success has been amplified by a system that allows him to flourish by not overburdening him with constant ball handling duties.
Full story about her turnovers. There were games where she committed 9 turnovers, where 7 of them were quote-unquote good turnovers, 2 of them were bad, and there was a game where she committed 5 turnovers and gave up 5.
By drawing inspiration from such models, Coach White is essentially ensuring that Clark's talent is leveraged in the most sustainable way possible.